Welcome, friends, to our magical 30-day challenge. We are bringing you a new story every single day.
This is day 6. Like and subscribe to help us reach our 100,000 subscriber goal together. Hello, friends. Today's story is about someone very, very small who had a very, very big adventure. But it all starts with a kind woman who was very, very lonely. More than anything in the world, she wanted a child, but she had none. One day, she went to a kind old fairy and told her this wish. The fairy smiled gently.
This is a simple wish to grant.
The fairy gave the woman a single magical barley corn. It didn't look like much, did it?
Plant this in a flower pot and wait. You will see something beautiful.
The woman hurried home, her heart full of hope. She planted the magical seed in a pot on her sunny windowsill. She watered it carefully every day. Soon, a beautiful large bud began to grow. It looked just like a tulip, but its petals were closed tight. The woman looked at the beautiful closed bud. It was so lovely that she leaned down and kissed its red and yellow petals. And in that very instant, pop, the flower magically bloomed open. And what do you think was inside? There, sitting on the green center of the flower, was a tiny, perfect, beautiful little girl. She was no bigger than the woman's thumb. The woman was so happy, her loneliness was gone. She made Thumbelina a little bed from a polished walnut shell with flower petals for a blanket. Thumbelina was so happy too. She played in a bowl of water, rowing a flower petal as a boat. She sang in a voice so sweet it was like music. Her mother adored her. But one night, a terrible thing happened. As Thumbelina slept in her walnut shell bed by the open window, a huge, ugly, warty toad hopped onto the windowsill. She looked at the tiny, sleeping girl.
My goodness, what a perfect tiny wife for my son.
And with that, the ugly toad carefully picked up the entire walnut shell with Thumbelina still inside. She hopped out the window, down into the dark garden, and towards the wide, muddy marsh where she lived. When Thumbelina woke up, she was terrified. She was no longer in her warm, safe home. She was on a huge, wet lily pad in the middle of a wide, slow-moving river. The ugly toad and her even uglier son were looking at her.
Don't cry, little one. You are going to be married.
Poor Thumbelina, she cried and cried. She didn't want to marry a toad. The little fish swimming below heard her weeping. They felt so sorry for her. They didn't want her to marry the ugly toad either. So they all worked together. They swam up and, chomp, they nibbled right through the lily pad's thick stem. The lily pad was free. It began to float away like a little green boat, carrying Thumbelina down the river far away from the toads. A beautiful white butterfly even fluttered down and helped pull her along, and Thumbelina was happy again for a moment. But then, a large, dark June beetle zoomed down from the sky. He grabbed tiny Thumbelina around her waist with his hard, shiny claws and flew up into a tall tree, leaving her lily pad to float away. The beetle showed her to his friends, but they were very rude.
You expect to join the friend circle looking like that? My dear, you haven't the slightest bit of style. Absolutely repulsive.
And no antennae. How ugly.
The beetle, hearing his friends, suddenly thought she was ugly, and he rudely dropped her at the base of the tree and flew away. Poor Thumbelina was all alone in the huge, wide woods. Summer passed. She made a tiny bed of grass. She drank the dew from the leaves and ate nectar from the flowers. But then winter came. The flowers and leaves died. The wind blew cold, and the snow began to fall. Thumbelina, in her thin, leafy clothes, was freezing. The world was now cold, white, and scary. She was all alone and so very, very cold. She knew she would not survive. Shivering, she stumbled through the snow and found a tiny, dark hole under a cornfield. It was the door to the house of a kind old field mouse. Thumbelina knocked with her tiny frozen hand. The field mouse, who was warm and cozy in her underground home, opened the door and saw the poor freezing girl.
Please, little mouse. Help me. Oh, you poor dear. Come in, come in, come in. You must be starving.
The kind mouse gave her food. And a warm bed of moss, and Thumbelina was safe. The mouse asked only that Thumbelina tell her stories and help keep the house tidy.
Oh my!
One day, the field mouse had a visitor. It was her neighbor, Mr. Mole. He was very rich and lived in a huge, dark, underground mansion. But he was also very gloomy, and he hated the sun and the flowers.
He is very rich, Thumbelina. He wants a wife. You would be so lucky.
Thumbelina shivered. Live underground in the dark forever. It sounded terrible. In one of the dark tunnels, Thumbelina found a poor swallow bird lying on the cold earth. Its wing was broken, and it was cold and nearly dead. Mr. Mole just poked it with his nose.
Just a bird. Good for nothing.
But Thumbelina had a kind heart. That night, she secretly brought the bird a soft blanket of moss and a little water. All winter long, Thumbelina secretly cared for the swallow. She brought him food and water. The swallow told her stories of the warm, sunny lands where he lived.
The sun is always warm, and the sky is the brightest blue.
By the time spring arrived, the swallow was strong again.
Thank you, dear girl. I am strong.
I must fly back to the sun.
Will you come with me?
Oh, how she wanted to. But she knew it would make the kind old field mouse sad. So she said goodbye. And watched the swallow fly up into the blue sky. But now the field mouse was insistent.
Hurry, hurry! The tunnel awaits! This veil is perfect. Let's get you married right away!
The wedding to the rich, gloomy Mr. Mole was planned. Thumbelina was miserable. She was going to be forced to live underground forever and never see the sun again. On the day of the wedding, she went outside one last time to say goodbye to the sky. Tweet, tweet, what was that? It was her friend, the swallow. He had returned.
It is your last chance, Thumbelina. The cold winter is coming again. Jump on my back, and we will fly away, far away to the war.
This time, she did it. She climbed onto his back and they flew up, up, up.
Soaring high above the world, they left the
They flew over the cold forests, over high mountains, and over the wide blue sea. It was a wonderful journey. At last, they reached the warm lands. The sun was bright, and the air was filled with the smell of beautiful flowers. The swallow gently set Thumbelina down on the petal of a huge white flower. And what do you think she saw? Sitting in the middle of the flower was a tiny man, just her size. He was made of light and looked like a prince. He wore a tiny, glittering crown. It was the king of the flower angels. He had never seen anyone as beautiful as Thumbelina.
You are the most beautiful girl I have ever seen. Will you be my queen?
Thumbelina, seeing a kind man just her size in a land of warmth and flowers, said yes. It was a very happy wedding. But friends, do you think she forgot someone? The story says she lived happily ever after, but I believe sometimes she would look at the sky and miss the kind woman who had kissed a flower and wished for her so hard. And back in the little cottage, the woman never stopped missing her tiny daughter. She would look at the empty walnut shell and hope that wherever she was, Thumbelina was safe and knew she was loved.
Do you love this magical tale? Please like, share, and subscribe.
Friends, do like and subscribe channel.